So when I drop my phone or I break my screen or anything like that gives me problems, it's just a throwaway device. Now, you guys are promoting something called open source mobility. What does that mean to somebody that acquires your devices? What does that mean to us?
Sure. Well, really, open source mobility was a concept that we've had at Psion for a while, and we'd sort of piloted it with one of our mobile products called the Workabout Pro. And the idea is, rather than building a device as a manufacturer and putting it out in the market and giving it a life of, say 12 or 18 months or something, and building something else and putting that out there in the market, we thought that it would be more beneficial for us as a manufacturer as well as our customers to make a product that was modular, and that's where the open source component of this comes in, of the OSM profile that we've developed. And basically what that is our products are modular in that, let's say you buy, let's say, an EP10, for example, and you're scanning a certain barcode type, or you're running on a certain carrier type, and you decide that you get a new customer, they have new data collection requirements, they have new carrier connectivity requirements. So rather than looking at your device that you bought, let's say 12 months or 16 months ago, and say, gee, we've got this new customer, we would really like to support this new requirement, rather than having to get rid of this device and make it a throwaway, as you mentioned, Kevin, we're able to support upgrading the device. So in the field, you can upgrade the keyboard type, you can change the scanner type, you can change some of the radio modules. So really it's kind of a building block approach, and really what this has done is given customers and partners a different strategy and a different perspective on these type of products for evaluating your return on investment and basically getting longer life out of this product than you would otherwise.
Yeah, I think of it like some of us carry Leathermans when we're walking around and doing chores outside, and they have lots of little tools on them, but they're not the best on any one of the tasks that they're meant to be used for. But you can configure a device that's really purpose-built, can't you? Right.
Yeah. The key is optimizing the device in hand to meet the specific requirements. So yeah, rather than trying to use a flat-bladed screwdriver on a Phillips head, we're able to give you that Phillips screwdriver.
So I guess because a lot of us with our smartphones, we like to see how much is possible to do with the smartphone. But if any one of those apps was going to be used all day long, there's probably better options. And so if we really have to be using a barcode scanner all day long, we probably should think about getting a specialized barcode scanning device.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're, not to use too many euphemisms, but I mean, if you're going to run an Indy race, you're not going to use a car from your Chevy dealer. You're going to want an Indy car. And same thing with the scanning device. I mean, if you have a scan-intensive application, you're going to want a product that's going to support that type of activity. And again, if you have a mobile application and that's a critical part of your business, you don't want to tie the hands of your field workers by using a product and a tool that's not optimized for that job task.
Got it. So some people like keyboards on their BlackBerries, and they want to stick with a BlackBerry as long as they possibly can because they love the feel of the keys. Others use touchscreen, but if you're going to use iPhone, you're only going to use touchscreen. But in your world, you can take out all kinds of keyboards and replace them. You could go, if you had 500 devices, you could switch out all their keyboards with a different kind of keyboard, couldn't you?
Sure, you could swap them out. You could also have a specific keyboard type, whether it's numeric or QWERTY, for a specific type of application. You could also combine, because again, these screens, just like your iPhone, will be touch sensitive as well. You can combine the capability of the soft screen data input with the hard key input as well. So it really gives you more flexibility and more capabilities for extending your application and really making it more usable for your field workers, because it really is, Kevin, at the end of the day, if you give your guys a product and a device that they're not happy with, that they're not comfortable using, it's going to become a paperweight up on the dashboard, and that's the last thing you want to have happen.
Oh, absolutely. So let's move on to trends. You get around, Gregg. You talk to lots of customers, lots of partners about what they're seeing in the field. What are some of the big trends here at the end of 2011 that you're seeing out there in the mobility space?
Well, I get around, don't tell my wife. No, really, the things are changing, right? I mean, and we're sort of at a I think a real sort of formative point, at least in mobility, as it relates to wireless networks, as it relates to smaller batteries. We talked about batteries earlier, and just kind of overall capabilities of these products out in the field. So, one of the things I hear a lot from customers, partners, is around OS development. Android obviously is a big interest for folks. Cross-platform support for specific applications. Being able to support multiple carrier networks, whether it's with AT&T or Verizon, whether it's HSPA Plus, or whether it's an LTE network environment. So there's when you start talking about true mobile broadband and the higher data throughputs that LTE and some of these emerging networks are going to provide, it's really going to be changing, I think, in the next couple of years. And I think we'll see device types change, and I think we'll see the types of applications that are put on these devices change as well.
Interesting. So let's touch on that Android issue a little bit. Now, most of the rugged devices, as far as I know, are still running Microsoft Mobile, like 6.53 or something like that. Is that still the case?
Yeah, Microsoft Windows Embedded Handheld is sort of the official name. So it's basically Windows Mobile 6.5 for lack of a better description.
Okay. And, there's been a lot of talk in the industry that they almost feel abandoned by Microsoft because they haven't kept pushing out new technology to the ruggedized segment of the market. And that's why I think Android is so appealing. They keep looking at it and saying, look, Android has given us all these new features. When is Android going to be part of the ruggedized industrial handheld set? What's your response to those kinds of issues?
Well, I certainly will say that we're looking at it, and we haven't really released something yet for a number of reasons. Not the least of which has been because of the open source nature of Android. Sort of that base kernel has changed a lot. So, this next release, I think will be a release that we could adopt for enterprise sales and support. It's interesting in the wireless space. It's one of those industries that is more driven from the consumer space than, let's say, the enterprise going to the consumer side. So, like you said, folks have Android handsets, and they're asking, well, why can't we have this on a rugged device? So, but as I said earlier, we're looking at it, and I think it would be a great thing for us to do, and I'm hoping we can offer something in the future.
Very interesting. What other trends are you seeing and hearing out there right now, Gregg?
Well, again, I'll get back to software around kind of multi-platform support. Many partners, to your point, Kevin, about feeling a little disenfranchised by some of the current tools in terms of Visual Studio and those sorts of things that would support, for lack of a better term, sort of the typical development tools for a Microsoft-based OS-type device. A lot of folks, I think, are looking at other application trends, Java-focused things, again, to run on Android, HTML 5.0 supported type applications to run on multiple different device types. So again, it's sort of that iPhone app world, and extending it even further so that a partner doesn't have to develop several different types of applications.
Got it. Well, before I let you go here, Gregg, let me ask another question here. Can you give the audience, the listening audience today, an idea of some of your, let's say over the last year, some of the big sales opportunities that you guys have closed? What kinds, is it 1,000 devices with a railroad? Is it 500 devices with a utility? We don't don't need the company names.
Sure.
Just what are some of the big deals and what industries, just to give the audience an idea of who's buying these kinds of devices.
Sure. Well, as a global company, right, which Psion is, we do business all over the world. And I'll talk about EP10 because that's near and dear to my heart. We officially launched that product in May of this year, and we had over 7,000 pre-orders for that product even before May. So, and the subsequent orders that have come in from there have been significant. So, and those range from both private sectors. We sold, I believe it was 4,000 devices to a large logistics company in Eastern Europe. The country of Argentina actually has purchased a number of EP10s, about a little less than 2,000 units for a public safety application that they're looking at deploying. There are some product or some customer announcements that I'd love to tell you about right now here in North America, but I'm really not at liberty to do that. But let's just say that we have some projects in the works that could total upwards of 10 to 15,000 units all told.
Wow! So that's really how your business works. Is you look for these specific verticals and these where they need purpose-built devices, and you guys go in there and quote to provide hundreds and thousands of devices to one purchasing organization.
I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's really about value, and with open source mobility, some of the other value-added elements in terms of software that we provide with the devices to help configure, manage. Those types of value-add solutions that we give our customers every day are, I think, evident by the success we've had thus far with EP10.
That's awesome. Well, Gregg, I want to thank you for joining us. And before I let you go, if people want more information on these kinds of devices, what website should they visit?
I would recommend just our corporate website, Psion.com, or you can visit our Ingenuity Working Portal, which is one of the foundation communication tools for open source mobility platform, and that's community.psion.com.